যমুনাতীরা বনচারী যমুনাতীরা বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री राधा माधव श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय, श्री पंच तत्व की जय, श्री नृसिंहदेव प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं सद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Today we shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Slok 10. Scheduled incarnations. Please repeat. nābher, asau, ṛṣabha, asā, sudevī, sūnuḥ, yo, vai, cacāra, sama-dṛk, jaḍa-yoga-caryām, yat pāramahaṁsyam, ṛṣayaḥ, padam, āmananti, svasthaḥ, praśānta-karaṇaḥ, parimukta-saṅgaḥ, nābher ṛṣabha ṛṣabhaḥ sudevi-sūnur, nābher ṛṣabha ṛṣabhaḥ sudevi-sūnur, yo vai cacāra sama-dṛg jaḍa-yoga-caryām, yo vai cacāra sama-dṛk jaḍa-yoga-caryām, yat pāramahaṁsyam ṛṣayaḥ padam āmananti, yat pāramahaṁsyam ṛṣayaḥ padam āmananti, svasthaḥ praśānta-karaṇaḥ parimukta-saṅgaḥ svasthaḥ praśānta-karaṇaḥ parimukta-saṅgaḥ nābher asāvri sava āsa sudevi-sūnur yo vai cacāra sama-dṛg jaḍa-yoga-caryām yat pāramahaṁsyam ṛṣayaḥ padam āmananti svasthaḥ praśānta-karaṇaḥ parimukta-saṅgaḥ Matajis, Nābhe by Mahārāja Nābhi, asau, the personality of Godhead, Ṛṣabha, asa became Sudevī, sūnuḥ, the son of Yaha, who, vai, certainly, cacāra performed, sama-dṛk equibalanced, jaḍa material, yoga-caryām performance of yoga, yat which paramahaṁsyam, the highest stage of perfection, ṛṣayaḥ, the learned sages, padam, situated, situation, āmananti, do accept, svasthaḥ, self-reposed, praśānta, suspended, karaṇaḥ, the material senses, parimukta, perfectly liberated, saṅgaḥ, material contamination. Translation: the Lord appeared as the son of Sudevī, the wife of King Nābhi, and was known as Ṛṣabhaḥ. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. Please repeat. The Lord appeared as the son of Sudevī, the wife of King Nābhi, and was known as Ṛṣabhaḥ. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. Paramahaṁsya yoga, also known as jaḍa-yoga, materialistic yoga. Purport: out of many types of mystic performances for self-realization, the process of jaḍa-yoga is also one accepted by authorities. This jaḍa-yoga involves practicing becoming like a dumb stone and not being affected by material reactions. Maharaj Bharat also was something like that, isn't it? Bharat Maharaj, at the later stage, not at the beginning. Jaḍa-Bharat, right. Jaḍa-Bharat. He also was acting as a dumb, deaf, no brain. Looks like no brain, but it's not. So, this kind of same type of yoga. Just as a stone is indifferent to all kinds of attacks and reattacks of external situations, similarly, one practices jaḍa-yoga by tolerating voluntary inflictions of pain upon the material body. Such yogis, out of many self-infliction methods, practice plucking out the hairs on their heads without shaving and without any instrumental help. At the present moment, the Jain saints also do the same thing. They don't shave. They pluck out their hairs. It's something artificial. If one is really on the Paramahaṁsa stage, for him anything is possible, anything is okay. But if one is not situated on that paramahamsa stage, then it's not very appreciable. They also imitate Ṛṣabha to some extent. They go naked. And if someone has reached the highest stage of devotional service or divine stage, of course we see divine stage also differs from person to person. Many type of divine stages are there. Different person acts in different ways also. Like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was on the divine stage. Srila Prabhupada was on the divine stage, but they did not got disbalanced. They maintained balance between material and spiritual both. Right? Prabhupada used to know everything in details, and accordingly he used to guide the disciples. And disciples would be surprised that Prabhupada knows this kind of intricacies also. So in that way, the type of transcendence differs from person to person. Like Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj did not do that. Bharat Maharaj was ideal king, and then he went to secluded place and was practicing. But Ṛṣabha was avadhut. So such yogis, out of many self-infliction methods, practice plucking out the hairs on their heads without shaving and without any instrumental help. But the real purpose of such jaḍa-yoga practice is to get free from all material affection and to be completely situated in the self. At the last stage of his life, Emperor Ṛṣabha wandered like a dumb madman, unaffected by all kinds of bodily mistreatment. So Ṛṣabha was a perfect personality. His feature, his strength, his etiquette, his behavior was all ideal. He was perfect human being. Also he is heroic. Every good qualities were in him. And seeing this, his father as well as the citizens thought he should be the king. And his father handed over him the responsibility of the kingdom. And he did to the best possibility. He used to take care of the citizens, and there was no calamity, no problem in his kingdom. So in that way, he was a perfect person. And then he went to Gurukul also, as to show an example. Like Lord Krishna went to Gurukul. He went to Gurukul also, and then came back. Then got married, as an ordinary person supposed to do. Become brahmachari, then become grihastha. So he became grihastha also. And he produced 100 children, 100 sons. And then out of that, Bharat Maharaj was the eldest. And he guided his children, his sons, in ideal ways. Because his father was an ideal person, sons also became such. So then he once started instructing his sons as to how to lead life, how to go about. And his instructions are invaluable, which we find in the fifth chapter of fifth canto. They are very, very important instructions. Prabhupada used to quote them very often. So then, finally, he thought of taking leave of all these material affairs. And his process was something very special. Possibly no one else has done such thing before, isn't it? Anybody else did before like this? So he was very special. He adapted a very special process, jaḍa-yoga, not to react in spite of hitting, beating, spitting, all kinds of troubles, stone pelting. Everything was done to him. He never objected. Why you are doing like this? No. So it's not an easy thing. Generally what happens is people in general do not understand anything of this. Moreover, he was going naked. So it was really weird for common people. What is this? Madman. So in that way, people are harassing him also. But in spite of harassment, he was totally unaffected. So in that way, finally, he thought of ajagar vritti. Ajagar vritti means python. Python lays down at one place, and whichever any animal, any birds, beasts come near him, he catches and eats. That's all. He will not go anywhere to look for food. Ajagar vritti. So he was doing that. And at the same place he was eating, sleeping, passing stool, urine, everything. So this is I don't know if somebody has done before this kind of yoga. So for the Lord, everything is possible. He can do anything, and that can be a process, not material thing, not some imitation. Just like we find once Haridas Thakur was there, and he saw a snake charmer is playing his flute, and that flute is singing glories of Krishna. And hearing this, Haridas Thakur fainted, fell down unconscious. And seeing this snake charmer, he took care of him very nicely. he brought him back to consciousness and paid obeisances. And then Haridas Thakur left. Seeing this, another so-called Brahmana, he was thinking, this person was so much honored by this person, so why not I also should do something. So he eventually fell down unconscious. And then as he fell down unconscious, the snake charmer started beating him up with his stick, like anything, like anything. And then this man became perturbed, and then he ran away from there. So people asked, you honored him so much when Haridas fell down, and you beat him up. Why? What is this? This is a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite. So that's why he did that. So artificial things do not work. And if he's genuinely doing yoga and he's yogi, then for him anything is possible, but not imitating. So Ṛṣabha was not imitating, he was doing actually practical thing. Although for the present moment, for common people like us, impossible. So, seeing him like a madman, wandering naked with long hair and long beard, less intelligent children and men in the street used to spit on him and urinate on his body. He used to lie in his own stool and never move. But the stool of his body was fragrant like the smell of fragrant flowers. And a saintly person would recognize him as paramahaṁsyam, one in the highest stage of human perfection. So, this fragrance used to spread up to how many yojana? 10 yojana. 10 yojan means, 1 yojan means 8 miles. 8 miles make 1 yojan. So 80 miles means 120 kilometers. Calcutta. With that radius, with the same radius, this smell was spread. So from that far, people would hear nice fragrance. So this is not ordinary thing. I heard Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's son, Lalita Prasad Thakur, at his birthplace, Birnagar, used to be there. And he was unmarried also throughout life. He did some service, government service, then he remained devotee. So he used to do his sadhana, and at the same bed he used to sleep, eat, even pass stool and urine on the same place. And Srila Jayapataka Maharaj went to see him, and he found no bad smell there. There is no bad smell. So it's also kind of some purity was there. So one who is not able to make his stool fragrant should not, however, imitate Emperor Ṛṣabha. Ṛṣabha means best, or the supreme. The practice of jaḍa yoga was possible for Ṛṣabha and others on the same level of perfection. But such uncommon practice is impossible for an ordinary man. So, this yoga is not going to work for us. We will be nowhere in this regard. The real purpose of jaḍa yoga, as mentioned here in this verse, is praśānta-karaṇaḥ, subduing the senses. Praśānta. Shanta means peaceful. Praśānta means completely peaceful. Karana means senses. Mind is the antah-karana, inner sense. Mind is known as antah-karan, inner sense. We have got 10 senses, and mind is the inner sense, antah-karan. So, praśānta-karana means completely subdued or completely peaceful senses. Srila Prabhupada also was of the same category. The devotees noticed him. He was completely peaceful. He didn't have to try to control his senses. He was already controlled. Otherwise, in his dealings, there is not a spot of any possibility of materialistic behavior. Yamuna Mataji, she says, I joined at the age of 16. And first day, she came with a short pant and short dress. And Prabhupada came and Prabhupada engaged her in cooking. Then she was saying, can I go and smoke a cigarette and come back? Prabhupada said, go and wash your hand and come. So like this, he had to deal with all kinds of people, male, female, everyone. And he used to deal with everyone. And everyone was happy. Everyone was happy practically. So, the whole process of yoga, under whatever heading it may be, is to control the unbridled material senses and thus prepare oneself for self-realization. Of course, in devotional service, bhakti yoga, all the senses are supposed to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Karo harer mandira marjanadishu. By hands, you clean the temple. Then by the eyes, you see the beautiful form of the Lord. By the tongue, you taste Krishna Prasad. By the ears, you hear Krishna Katha. By the nose, you take nice smell of tulsi and prasadi flower. In that way, all the senses can be used in the service of the Lord. So, this is devotional service. Because our senses are there and its tendencies are there. We cannot just stop them and finish. No, not possible. But we have to terminate their tendencies to devotional service, in the service of the Lord. So in that way, the devotional service is rather a positive way to utilize. In this age, specifically, the jaḍa-yoga cannot be of any practical value. But on the other hand, the practice of bhakti yoga is feasible because it is just suitable for this age. The simple method of hearing from the right source, Srimad Bhagavatam, will lead one to the highest perfectional stage of yoga. Ṛṣabha was the son of King Nābhi and the grandson of King Agni-dṛa, and he was the father of King Bharat, after whose name this planet Earth was called Bharatvarsha. So, that Bharatvarsha is still there. It is still there. It's not just the fictitious stories. People sometimes, they say mythology. These Hindu scriptures, Sanatana Dharma scriptures, people say this is mythology. Myth means fake. And there's fictitious stories. But it's not fictitious stories. Just like incidents of Ramayana. Those incidents took place at different places. Those places are still there. Different activities of Mahārāja, those places are still there. Dwarka is still there. Kurukshetra is still there. Ramsetu is still there. Naimisharanya is still there. Right? So, this, if still somebody says this is a fictitious story, he must be a mad fellow. Like when I went to Badrinath I went, there I found Vyas Gufa, Ganesh Gufa, Bhimshila, Draupadi Samadhi. It's there. Pandavas were going to heaven by that way. And then on the way, there was Mandakini river. So difficult to cross. So Bhimsen broke one of the hilltops by his gada, by his mace. And big chunk of stone he brought and put it on the river. And that piece of stone is still there. You can very easily understand this stone has been placed on the river. And with that, we crossed the river also. Bhimshila. So, this is not fictitious, it's fact. So, simple method. Ṛṣabha was son of King Nābhi and the grandson of King Agni-dṛa, and he was the father of King Bharat, after whose name this planet Earth was called Bharatvarsha. Ṛṣabha's mother was also known as Meru Devi. Although her name is mentioned here, as Sudevī. It is sometimes proposed that Sudevī was another wife of King Nābhi, but since King Ṛṣabha is mentioned elsewhere as the son of Merudevi, it is clear that Merudevi and Sudevī are the same person under different names. So, in that way, King Ṛṣabha was the incarnation of the Lord, and he showed his extraordinary capacity. He is not an ordinary person. He proved it. Hare Krishna. Question, comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the translation, it is written that the stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional state of liberation, and before that, he performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. And this stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. And in the verse also, it is mentioned like jaḍa-yoga-caryām. Jaḍa-yoga-caryām.
Jaḍa-yoga-caryām.
Caryām.
Charya. Yoga-charya.
Yeah. So, would you please explain this part, that jaḍa-yoga-caryām, performance of yoga? So, what is that? Jaḍa-yoga, what is that?
What you know, I also know the same thing. Jaḍa-yoga-caryām. Charya means acting, that acharan, like jivan-charya, lifestyle, yoga style, jaḍa-yoga style, charya means style. So, although here it is saying that it is to subdue the senses, to equivalence the mind and senses. But in fact, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. He was the Lord himself. He was the Lord himself. His senses were not uncontrolled at any time. Right? But he was acting as if an ordinary person, to control the senses, to go to Gurukul, to get married, to act as paramahaṁsyam. He is showing different stages of life. So, this jaḍa-yoga-caryām is, we can say, it's invented by him only. Jaḍa-yoga-caryām is invented by the Lord himself. I do not know if this was before. And then the saints and sages accepted this process as one of the yogas. Right? So, and that's it. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. When I was in Los Angeles in 1985, I read an article in the newspaper, the Los Angeles Times. It was a tiny article that said the city of Dwarka has been discovered. The sunken city of Dwarka, they found it, but the government won't let anyone go investigate. Prabhupada said that if anyone saw those 900,000 palaces all encrusted with jewels, they would see only God could create such a thing, you know. But the British, they made a big propaganda to say that all of these stories, they were mythology.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
To steal the culture from the Indian people and to enslave them in their service. You know, it's very demoniac.
Yeah, right. That the city of Dwarka is still under the water. And sometimes some people went in and found things are there. So it is a fact that also it is said that Lord Krishna asked for land from the sea, that you give me land to make my city. And then the land was given by the ocean. And after Lord Krishna, when he was supposed to go away, at that time he gave the land back to the sea. That's how it went underneath water. And it is found today also, available.
Also, there's a NASA produced a satellite image of the bridge that Lord Ramachandra built.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And they say, oh, this is the first, this is Adam's bridge, the
Yeah.
first man-made. It's all lies coming from these people, all lies.
Also, this previous government, Indian government, they tried to break that, saying that in between India and Sri Lanka, that bridge is there. So they want to take ships through this, and it gets stuck. So they wanted to break that area so that the ships can go. So they engaged big cranes and all, and one after another cranes kept breaking. So they finally gave it up. We cannot break it. Ram Setu is still there. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.